Alright guys, for this video log I am going to show you how I'm going to paint the base to this. Now what's cool about this Dreadnought base is it already comes designed. It has cool patterns and whatnot. There's bullets and everything. So what I'm going to do is, well, right now I primed it black with Krylon, just standard black paint. You can get this at Walmart for like $3. The one thing you have to do with these though is you have to prime it with very little paint, so just a couple sprays. That way it doesn't, you know, glob on there and look bad. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to dry brush it with a gray, and because this is the base, I'm not going to go all crazy with good paint. I'm just going to use Craft Smart gray paint. So let me dry brush that. Now dry brushing is a technique used where you just get a brush with very long brushes, and then you just get a little bit of paint, not that much, onto your brush, and then you just move in quick motions and get the very little paint that you have on the brush onto your model to highlight all these cool details and whatnot. And then as you can see, this really makes the details pop out, and it's easy and quick. And as you can see, the dry brushing is done. It's a very heavy dry brush, and you know, all the details come out. Look at that scar right there. That's pretty cool. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a dark brown wash to it. Basically, I'm just going to take brown paint, my cheap brown paint, and mix it 1-to-1 with water. And that's what it's supposed to look like. I use this acrylic paint you get at Michael's or Walmart for like 50 cents. So I mixed it with water, and I think this is actually a lot. I put way too much for just this simple base, but now we're going to paint it. This is gonna give it like a dirty, nasty look, and that's what you want. But because this is a war-torn, nasty area, I guess. Just make sure that the paint and the pigments go into the crevices, because that's where you want the brown to show up, not so much the top areas. So just make sure to push it around, push all the water and the paint and the pigments around with your brush. Right, and there you go. It's dried, well, somewhat dry, and as you can see, the dirt has gone into the cracks, or the brown paint has gone into the cracks, leaving a look of dirt. So now I'm going to dry brush it with the gray again. This brings back the details that, ooh, this is way too much. If you put too much, you could always just go back with your thumb or finger. You see here like the brush strokes that you can see. You can just smooth it out by doing this, and this, and this. And then just go at it again. Alright, and now we're going to go over it with some white to bring in some more of those highlights. So definitely pay attention to going around the edges. Alright, so now what I did was I didn't really like how there wasn't enough brown in the base, so I did another wash of brown, and as you could see, you could really tell where the brown is now. And then I did the same steps, so I did a gray dry brush followed by a very nice white dry brush, which is why you could see the edges. You can see right here the edges raised, and then I did an extra dry brush on the skull right here. Now let's move on to painting these little bullets. I have gold, and what's like a copper gold that I'm going to use, and that's what I'm going to use to paint those up. This is the paint that I'm going to be using, Tester. I picked this up at Michael's. It was pretty cheap. So I wanted to test it out, so I'm going to test it out with you guys. This is like a gold copper type of thing for the bullets. So let's go ahead and do that. This is the type of brush I'm using, super fine tip. And yeah, let's get to it. Alright, I'm going to try my best to keep this on and paint at the same time. Let's see how it goes. Can't see how it's coming now. Okay, that's good. Has a nice color to it. So now I'm going to finish this up so I can see it up close. Alright, and as you can see, I painted up the bullets that were laying on the floor, the casings of the bullets. And yeah, there's some by the skull, some right there, and then there's one way over here. So that is the base for the Death Company Dreadnought that I'm going to continue to build. So make sure to subscribe to check out the other videos in this series, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode of this modeling log. This was Gersh1 with 19 Syndicate signing out.